Back to the end of session markups for Thursday, July the 20th. A lot of action here. Unfortunately, not on GU. We never got any opportunities, but massive trades on EU. We had 3 opportunities to enter. And if you want to directly jump onto that, please look into the description and the timestamps. Yes, you can call it, it's hindsight, but we'll go through the higher time frame narrative to explain why there were possibilities to enter. I did place a trade on it, but as you'll see, I did not get triggered by literally half a pip or so. And the other 2, I was just not around because the time frame was so much, I was not on my screens. Unfortunately, I missed those. But yeah, if you want to go check that out, it's in the timestamp and massive trades there. But let's look at GU first. So on the daily, yesterday on a Thursday, we had a massive push down, a bearish candle. And if I don't look at what today is developing on a Friday, there's not much that you can tell on the daily looking at this time frame. So let's jump into 4H. What do we have here on the 4H? We were on a Thursday coming in at this point in time. Here we had a boss on a Wednesday. Thursday, there. So coming in on Thursday, this is where we were, this bearish candle. We did have a chalk well, actually we did not even have a chalk. The chalk is all the way down here for the 4H. But on the 1H, we did have a chalk. Not going on much over here again at this point. Looking at these charts, it's just a simple pullback, and it could be waiting for the actual supply zones that we might find on the 1H, what's going on. But as you can see, the price is heavily bearish. We had a 1H boss, and after the boss, what are we anticipating? When we came in on Thursday, a pullback, right? So that is what's happening over here. So let's go to 1H. So on the 1H on a Thursday, Thursday, there. So at this point in time, we had a 1H chalk. So let me zoom this out now. That's where we are. On a Thursday, we had a 1H chalk over here, and we had a very nice high probability supply zone. But what happened? Price kept falling. This was the last demand that was created by the bullish 1H chalk. So you can see the medium time frame can chalk bullish, can chalk bearish. It is very frequent how it changes direction because we are trying to play the higher time frame narrative, right? So the 4H. So over here it was a pullback, but once we got this bearish chalk, maybe the pullback is over, and we look at to see if we can get some sort of an entry if the price pulled back into this 1H supply zone. This was a valid demand from created this week, and you know what? Price just kept falling, right? So it kept falling. It did not give us any entry. So if I went to 15 minutes and looked at this price action at this point in time, we had a 1H chalk. On a Thursday, price kept falling. We had a mitigation over here, a very edge. These type of mitigations almost always get run because it's the initial reaction at the zone, and then price always pulls deeper. But literally there was no action, there was no order flow that was broken, no liquidity that was taken, strong liquidity that was taken. It was just trickling until we had that 1H boss, and then today we started pulling up, right? And we are still waiting to see if this demand zone holds or if it does not hold. Anyway, so if I look at 1H again, yeah, so at this point in time, there was nothing really. But if you look at Euro USD at this point now, let's look at Euro, right? So ignore this. We'll go over it in detail on the 15-minute, but ignore this for the time being, right? So Euro had the similar price action, right? But what happened in Euro was that once we had that chalk, initial chalk, the price always went back to that supply. right? So it happened, the initial stages of that actual next impulse. We had those pullbacks into supplies and we got those nice reactions. So for example, if I were to go to 15 minute, and we can study this in a little bit in detail, look at that. And then obviously the point being that, are you going to hold it this long, right? Are you going to scale your trades in? Are you confident enough in your narrative to hold it that long? Are you happy to take quick 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours? But the potential was 15 hours on each one of these trades, right? So what happened here? We had pull into the 1H. While doing so, it did take out some good level of liquidity on the 15 minute. Now I'm always looking for a 15-minute liquidity, because that is a stronger form of liquidity, because price has to develop quite a bit in order to create that liquidity and then also to take it out. So versus if I'm taking out liquidity on a 1 minute time frame compared to a 15-minute time frame, obviously the 15-minute time frame liquidity grab would be a lot more stronger and meaningful. And in this case, this high broke a number of structure points, so there is obviously a lot of orders sitting behind this, and that is what we're after. So we took that liquidity, and then we had that last demand fail. And after that last demand fail, this was sort of the entire range. There's no clean price action. So if you take the entire range and then you put an entry at the 25%, that was basically the entry, the 15-minute entry over there. Now, in my case, when I put this trade in, I just barely missed getting tagged into that 25%, right? I had the trade placed, and the minute it broke this low, at this point in time, I was not interested, and I took that trade out. But I had my trade placed in over here. Unfortunately, did not get tagged in, and that's just the nature of the game. So what happens next? We had a pull, and we had another break of structure, creating us a fresh supply zone. So what did we do right now? We confirmed this 1H supply is holding by confirming that this new 15-minute supply is holding. And if these two are confirmed, what are we doing with this new supply created? It is a double confirmation entry on the previous two. So you could have easily entered in here as well at the 25% of this bearish candle over here, and it would have tagged you in, and it went in all the way, right? And none of them had a break even. So it broke here, went up into this new created demand zone, but it never broke even on the first one. On the second trade, it went back in, broke the low, but it never gave us a break even on the second trade. And on the third trade, it is exactly the same. So we are having a triple confirmation. You could have easily entered on the 25% of this range, this pivot candle, and entered, and then the price just melted. We had a 1H over here. If you see this, there's a lot of crisscross patterns right now, but this was the 1H, and within the 1H, we had two 15-minute zones marked out to see if there's going to be any reaction. None. It just blasted, and it blasted all the way down to giving you almost, a 13 here, a 15 point here, and a 15 point here trades, right? So opportunities like this do happen. You just have to be at the charts. Unfortunately, I wasn't at this point in time. I was over here. I placed my trade, and I would probably be looking at a quick break of structure and just end my trade over here instead of letting it run, because I don't want to risk going pull back all the way back, giving all my profits to the market, and then wondering if it's going to take me out for a break even and then go in my direction or not. So yes, ideally, in hindsight, these are massive trades if you have the guts to hold it that long and you believe in your high time frame narrative. But in this case, it did work out. Other cases, it might not have worked out. Just looking at the high time frames again, what was happening was that if I were to look at, we had a 4H boss, why this sudden fell, why it made sense. We had a 4H massive impulse onwards. We were reaching to a level of supply, and at that point in time, we had a 4H chalk. So now it is more convincing that you are reaching a level of a supply, and it could have gone up, right? But you are in a very high probability area of value. We are overextended. Now we are getting a 4-8 chalk. We also got a 1-8 chalk. We are getting some nice supply zones being formed, which are giving us those confirmation entries, and that's why you would want to enter right at the start of this pullback. How far this pullback will go, we are currently on a Friday now, we are having these reactions to what? Nothing really over here, which means that price will keep falling. A lot of imbalance over here, and these would be the high probable 4H demand zones that we'll be looking at. All right, guys. So that was EU for you all. If you enjoyed this content, do like and subscribe, and we'll catch you up later for the Friday end of July markups, end of 21st of July markups. You all take care. Bye bye now.